Good afternoon, everybody. How are we? So today, this is a bit of a different Q&A. It's a different time, different location. I'm actually driving. So I've been into Newcastle just to catch up with some of the fam. Newcastle's about 2 hours north of Sydney. And so yeah, I'm now on the drive back up to Sydney, and there's no way in hell I was going to miss Q&A because we missed it last night. And I didn't have this car holder, but now we're back tonight, and we're going to absolutely smash this Q&A because it's going to be a really, really epic one. It is going to be all about sex and your gains. One thing that a lot of people underestimate is actually how good sex is for your gains. Like, sex is fucking awesome to start with. I mean, sex is great. I mean, you can't not like sex. Yeah, we're going to actually look at how it actually affects your gains, your body composition, and all that sort of thing. Now, as always, guys, I am going to be going through and answering all your questions. So, yes, even though I'm in the car, I'll still be answering absolutely everything. So make sure that you post up and you ask whatever you want us to go over, and we can go off and make sure that you know all the questions that you need to know. You know all the answers that you need to know the questions. So, first things first, before I actually get into this hard, can some of you guys confirm if you can actually hear me? There we go, we're back. Alright, let's hope that doesn't happen again. Fingers crossed, who knows. You gotta love Australian technology, it's fucking a shithouse. Alright, Duncan's told me that we got it. We got you guys, you can hear me, we're all good to go. Alright, so first of all, we had a really good question today in the shred community. If you're not a part of it, get amongst it, alright? From a bloke called from Tony. Now, Tony was asking about what are the best supplements to improve your immunity. Really, really good question, because a lot of people get crook all the time. Some people are just predisposed to getting sick. And if you're one of those people, my answer to that question is what are the best supplements that you could that we could use. Pretty much the number one thing is don't worry about supplements. Supplements are not what you want to focus on. It's gut health. Remember, guys, your immunity starts in your gut. So if your gut's not working properly and your intestines are constantly damaged and the lining's becoming, perforated and it's getting pierced by things which shouldn't be piercing it, then you are not going to have a good time with your immunity. You're going to constantly be inflamed. And when we think of inflammation, we're going to think about inflammation, how it's involved with colds and getting sick. When you're inflamed, you'll get runny noses all the time. You'll be very, very sinusy. You'll wake up with a puffy face. You'll constantly get chest infections, chest colds. You'll get like the sore joints, the joint stiffness, joint inflammation from when you wake up in the morning, you'll be really tight and stiff. So all those sort of things which people commonly associate with immunity, they all start with the gut. So you can take some really cool supplements like olive leaf extract or vitamin C or berberine. But in the end of the day, if your gut's not good, it's not going to be able to it's not going to be able to fix. No supplements can fix what your gut isn't doing, all right? So you need to make sure 100% that your gut is optimal, okay? But anyway, that's my answer to that question. The first really, really good one that we got. So let's see what we got on here. So we got Duncan, we got Saw. Hey Saw, how are you, mate? Petey, good to have you back, big fella. Nafiz, likewise. Derek, how are you, mate? All right, awesome. We even got Alex D on there. What a pleasure. And Daniel Burford and Joe Doyle, all the legends. All right, let's do this, guys. Let's get into this. So, sex and gains. Now, guys and girls, you're all going to love me for this because your partner's going to have to give it up a fair bit more after this live video, because sex is awesome for your gains. Sex has a number of really, really good functions, all right? And we're going to go over through them. First of all, though, I want to go over sex and if there are any downsides. Literally, there are zero downsides to having more sex, like nothing. There is not there's not a single downside to having more sex whatsoever. So if there's one thing that I can preach to you guys is have more sex. One thing that we do with, you know, all my clients and all my comp prep guys, or we're having a massive focus on now, is making it so that when you are cutting, when you're trying to lose fat, burn fat and all that, and you've got cardio in your program, you can actually swap out cardio for sex. And this is like it's obviously an honesty protocol. But if you do want to, I'll let all my guys, and this goes for anybody watching here right now, you can swap your cardio for sex. So if you have sex, don't embellish 2 minutes into 15, guys, as we all do. Yeah, if you're having sex, you can easily swap out sex for cardio. And the reason why I am so happy for you guys to have sex over having cardio is because you're actually better off having lots more sex than not wanting it. One thing that happens when you're dieting really, really hard, you're getting stressed with work and all that stuff, is your sex drive goes down. And the reason why your sex drive goes down is because you actually lose GABA. So you know that neurotransmitter GABA that I always talk about? If you don't, comment below and I'll go over it later with you. But pretty much when you have a reduction in GABA, and also to a certain extent serotonin, you actually dramatically lose your sex drive. And this is because, well, I postulate this is because when you have higher levels of GABA, you're more relaxed. And when you're more relaxed, you end up having higher levels of testosterone because your cortisol levels are down. And so by losing your sex drive and not having your sex drive around, you pretty much end up amplifying the stress. Because let's be honest, I know this works for me and 100% is going to be for you too. How antsy do you get when you haven't had sex in a while? And the thing is that when you don't have sex, pretty much you don't get the release of oxytocin, you don't get the release of serotonin or GABA. So after sex, you become very, very relaxed. You go from fight or flight into rest and digest. And by doing that, you will dramatically improve your GABA levels and improve your serotonin levels. At the same time, you also get a nice little dopamine spike right before the finish. And that can also make you feel good and keep you motivated, keep you working really, really well. So if you have more sex, there are a whole heap of benefits that are going to happen. You're going to chill out more, you're going to sleep better, you're going to handle stress a lot better, because as we all know, sex is a great stress reliever. You're going to feel more balanced. You will be able to hit your goals a lot more, because people who have more sex tend to be more motivated people. The list is, it's endless, the benefits of sex. There are so many. However, the biggest one out of the lot is that sex activates the vagus nerve, and it makes sure that the vagus nerve is turned on. So if you have a vagus nerve, which actually, you know what, first of all, I'll talk about the vagus nerve because I haven't talked about this one that much in the past. What the vagus nerve is a nerve that runs from your brain, and it goes from your brain and it controls all of your organs. It comes out through about here to control the top part of your diaphragm, your stomach, and it also goes down all the way through your spine and out through your pelvic area, around your lower back, and then innervates all the organs down the lower area there. Now, what the vagus nerve does is it literally controls all those organs. It turns them on or turns them off. So your stomach, your whole digestive system, your liver, your spleen, your pancreas. We're back. Sorry guys. Australia is fucking awesome, but dead set, these Muppets who are running the country could not give us decent internet or decent Wi-Fi or decent phone reception whatsoever. Alright, so I digress. Let's go back to where we were. The vagus nerve controls absolutely everything, so it makes sure that absolutely everything is in check. The other thing that it does on top of regulating the key organs is that it also massively, it literally controls inflammation. And now, as we've spoken about before, inflammation in the body, that is the biggest cause of all disease. That is the biggest cause of slower gains, lower testosterone, everything, high levels of inflammation. And the vagus nerve, when it is activated, it actively quells inflammation, reduces the damage in your body. So if your vagus nerve is constantly on, then you're going to be a much happier person, all right? Or if you have a balance. Because as I said before, the vagus nerve is heavily implicated in fight or flight. Now, when we go to looking at how the vagus nerve affects our gut and whatnot, if we are having gut issues, right, and we end up having sex and we have more frequent sex, you'll notice that your digestion actually improves dramatically, like very, very dramatically. And so this is one of the reasons. And now, going on to ways to activate the vagus. Oh, actually, before I go on to that, really, really cool one too, is that if you have hiccups, and if you're somebody that's prone to hiccups, that's actually a function of the vagus nerve, okay? And now, if you can't get rid of your hiccups, you've tried swallowing water, getting scared, all that sort of shit, the one way which I guarantee will fix you up is by having sex. So they actually published a study on this for people who've had long-term hiccups. Yes, having hiccups long-term is a genuine thing. People have had it for years. And there were 2 ways which they concluded which could actually solve these hiccups and activate the vagus nerve. Number 1 is by putting a finger up your clacker and you know, giving a digital massage, and that gets rid of it. And the other way is just by having sex. Okay, so vagus nerve is actually, having sex is actually the most effective way of activating the vagus nerve, which in turn will activate your rest and digest system and make you gain far, far faster. Because remember, guys, out of all this, we've got to look back to the big picture. If we have higher levels of inflammation throughout our whole body, okay, we are not going to grow quickly. The reason being because our testosterone levels are going to go down, our cortisol levels are going to go up, and our hormonal profiles are going to be all over the place. On top of that, we're going to be very, very stressed. We're not going to sleep well. We're not going to recover well. All that stuff, okay? So we need to make sure that we look after our inflammation. Thus, we look after our vagus nerve. Thus, we look after our sex lives, okay? So on that note, people are going to probably ask me, oh, so how much should we be having sex? You know, what do we need? All these sorts of things. Just fucking do it, right? Just get it done every single week. You'll feel much, much better for it. There is no minimum or maximum. There's no maximum you can have sex. The minimum, I'd say, is once a week. Any less than that, and it can be a bit tough on your body. But yeah, make sure that you have more sex, because it will pay dividends in the long run. Absolute dividends. So get onto it, guys. If you are training with me at the moment, make sure that you have more sex if you can. If you don't have a sex drive, we need to fix that. Let me know. If you don't have a sex drive, that is bad, not a good sign at all. But yeah, have more sex. You'll be much, much happier. I guess that kind of leads me onto the next part too, which is your libido. Now, not many people these days like talking about poos and libido, sex, all that sort of stuff, because it's gross, it's dirty, and all that. But people forget that it's actually a really, really important about our function. So if you don't have a sex drive, right, that is not a good indicator of your health. That's a good indicator, actually. It's a good indicator that your health is not good. When you're stressed, your body automatically chops your sex drive down. The reason being because in times of stress, the last thing we want to do is reproduce, because it's very, very energy expensive to reproduce. I mean, you think about it, to make a kid and to look after a kid, that takes a lot. I mean, I've seen some poor buggers taking their kids around just today, and I was like, oh, God, I could not do that. Yeah, one day, definitely, but not yet. But that's what I mean. We want to, our body naturally in times of stress reduces our sex drive. So if you don't have a sex drive at all, you are way, way overstressed. Now, if you're a dude over the age of 30, it's very, very common for you to lose your sex drive really quickly. And I'm actually running a course on helping guys like this actually bring back the masculinity, because it is emasculating to not have a sex drive. So if you need a hand with that, leave a comment below or shoot us an inbox and we will sort you out, okay? So the key thing I want you to take away from this, guys, is that if you don't have a sex drive, it's not normal. It's not good. You should not have a sex drive. You should be wanting to have sex every single day as much as you possibly can, okay? You need to make sure that your sex drive's through the roof, because that's the biggest indicator that you're happy, you're healthy, your body's working, your hormones are on point, okay? On that note, I'm going to leave it for sex for now. If you have any questions, comment them below. I'm going to start going through a few of them now. Who we got? Hey Kylie, how are ya? Good to see we've got Kyle here as well. Joe Doyle, well, looks like I need to get me some sex. Yes, you do need to get you some sex. I can't help you out, but I can make you look good, mate. in order to get you some more of that. And yes, fuck cardio. Guys, as I said before, if you're going to do cardio and you want to do cardio, 100%, 10 times out of 10, go for sex over cardio. Swap your cardio for sex. 15 minutes of cardio easily equals 1 session of sex, all right? Just don't last 2 minutes. On that note too, if you are lasting 2 minutes and you are premature, start taking some GABA and 5-HTP and you'll actually end up lasting longer. There you go, guys. And girls, you can thank me later. Actually, particularly the girls, you can thank me later for that. So if you are a girl and you are having issues, with your partner doing that, bit of GABA and 5-HTP and just keep increasing the dose of 5-HTP, and then that'll actually solve the problem. Fun fact for you. Alex D, what if you don't have a partner, a decent wank? That's actually a good question. See, I tried researching this and I couldn't find any evidence on having a wank impacting the vagus nerve. But yes, I dare say a decent wank could do the job for you, all right? But as always, mate, you're a good-looking bloke. You're not going to have any trouble. As are all the guys who train with us here. That's why we lift, because we look good and we want to look good. So you shouldn't have too much trouble finding a partner anyway. But yes, if in doubt, going solo can do the job. Or I dare say. Avi, hey brother, how are ya? Mate, I'm glad you want to start training with us. Shoot us a message and we'll get you started. All right. Well, look, guys, we've got through most of the questions here already. Ask away, all right? I know there's going to be heaps about this, which we can go over. But yeah, ask away and get onto it. One thing too, one of the most underdiagnosed things that I see all the time, is a big GABA deficiency, right? And so for those of you who don't know what GABA is, GABA is the main neurotransmitter or the main brain hormone, which slows us down, allows us to relax, chill out, be happy, relieve anxiety, relieve depression, all that sort of stuff, okay? And if we don't have enough GABA going around, we're constantly going to be on edge. So we're not going to be able to appreciate things like sex, like sleep, like being able to rest. People who are workaholics and can't slow down, yes, they're the ones who are GABA deficient. I get massively GABA deficient at the drop of a hat. I've got, an excessive work ethic. You ask my girlfriend, Sarah, she'll tell you that I just work. And it's something that we really need to be cognizant of, because if we are not aware of it and we're not on board with feeling how our workload is and our ability to relax, we're going to go downhill very, very quickly. One thing I can tell you about my personal experience with having a hectic GABA deficiency was all through the year of 2016. So in 2015 I started competing, all right? So I started my comp prep. So I comp prep for roughly 18 months straight, 18 months, 2 years, somewhere in that range. And pretty much what I did, I was dieting hard, training twice a day, 4 to 5 hours a day for the best part of 18 months. And what I ended up doing was I thought, you know what, fuck it, I got to be in the gym a whole heap. I need to be, here. I need to be pushing it. I need to be spending more time in the gym and maximizing my time here, working on my business, learning, studying, in order to succeed at life and just be the best at what I can be. And pretty much what happened was I ended up getting rid of my time to sleep and rest. So for the 18 months there, I didn't go out with my mates. I was not social whatsoever. I didn't prioritize sleep. I was trying to sleep 4 to 6 hours a night max, all right? So no more than that. Whenever I got crook, I didn't listen to my body. So I got sick twice in that year, which is the most I've ever got sick for the last however long. And it honestly, I didn't pay attention to my GABA deficiency whatsoever. I was not balanced. If you're like me and you don't sleep, you don't rest, you don't know how to turn off, spend time with loved ones, family, you're constantly pushing on self-development, getting bigger, getting leaner, getting stronger, making more money, working your business, all that sort of stuff, you're going to end up like me. It is going to happen, okay? You need to make sure that you're on point. You need to make sure that your health is there and that you are looking after yourself, because if you don't look after your GABA levels, they're going to come and smack you in the back of the head. The things that occur when you have low levels of GABA are anxiety, depression, low sex drive, the inability to sleep, which is a huge one. And when I say inability to sleep, I mean you sit there wide awake for hours, or you wake up constantly during the night, or you're just a really, really light sleeper and the slightest little thing will wake you up, okay? On top of that too, if you just can't sleep in, like you can't sleep in past 7 o'clock, you will be GABA deficient. So you need to make sure that you sort that out, because if you don't, it's going to hit you in the back of the head really, really quick. Now, Joel's just asked a question here, and he said, thoughts on phenibut and theacrine, and what GABA supplements do you recommend? Mate, I am a massive fan, as you would know, of phenibut. Unfortunately for phenibut, is that in here in Australia, we've got a bunch of absolute muppets running our therapeutic goods administration. So the guys who control our supplements and say what's legal and what's not. Fucking idiots. And pretty much they've banned phenibut as of August next year. So you won't be able to get any phenibut. What phenibut does, guys, it's a precursor to GABA. So, well, it's not a precursor. I mean, it is GABA with a little bit of extra added to it so it can go into our brain. With GABA, okay, the GABA, the supplement, that actually won't help you sleep. GABA, the supplement, cannot get into the brain, or cannot really get into the brain. It mostly sticks in the body. So in the body, everything below here, really, it sticks in around here, and it works as a muscle relaxant. For those of you who have on GABA through the day, that is why you don't get sleepy on it, why you feel very focused, and why your gut starts working really well. The phenibut, yeah, it goes and it binds into the brain. It works as GABA. Now, it is awesome for sleep. As you all know, I'm a very big fan of Ronnie Coleman's Resurrect. And the reason for that is because it's got a really awesome dose of phenibut along with threonate, magnesium, all that sort of crap. And it honestly gives you the best sleep in the world. Phenibut will slow you down, chill you out, make you feel calm more than any other supplement which I've ever had experience with, okay? It's absolutely fantastic. So yes, phenibut is awesome. Theanine, I'm another massive fan of. Theanine is fantastic in the morning when you have your coffee or you have your theacrine, because it balances you out. It balances you out, it reduces anxiety, and allows you to have constant focus. If you have theanine in the morning, you will literally be level for the rest of the day. A lot of us, me included, we get highs and lows in our energy as the day goes on. And this is due to, taking caffeine in the morning, which literally everybody does. People have different reactions to food, different neurotransmitter balances, all that sort of thing. Theanine levels you out and keeps you really, really level. I'm a huge, huge fan of it. On top of that too, it actually works synergistically with caffeine to improve your focus. So if you're taking caffeine and you're noticing that you're so jittery and high out of your mind that you can't think, theanine will work with the caffeine to keep you on the straight and narrow and make you feel absolutely epic. So it is really, really cool. The next one, Joel asks, is what GABA supplementation do you recommend? The best GABA supplementation, straight up, is actually having a good diet. Let's remember that GABA is primarily created in the intestines, in the gut, okay? So if you're GABA deficient, then you're going to have a reduced ability to make it in the gut. You're going to have poorer gut health. So number one, if you can look after your gut, use stuff like berberine, betaine, HCl, digestive enzymes, fiber, all that sort of stuff, then that's going to be the first step to improving your GABA levels. I have, guys, I'll be straight, roughly 90% of all the men who come and train with me have got depression and anxiety related issues, pretty much all of which are related to GABA. Now, the reason why a lot of those guys, literally the vast majority, if not all of them, have alleviation of their depression, their symptoms when they follow the plan, is because we fix their gut primarily, and then after that they start to feel a lot better as their gut is working a lot better and is producing more GABA, as well as also reducing the need for them to be in fight or flight and reducing the inflammation. Okay, so that's the number one thing. Improve your digestion. Number two, just getting GABA in throughout the day is very, very good. And then using a inositol, 5-HTP, melatonin, Ronnie Coleman Resurrect, or a combination of those, or some and not others, is a really, really good way to go. As a base, theanine and Ronnie Coleman Resurrect are the two really good ways to go. I hope that helps, big fella. Let me know if you need me to clear up anything. Derek. Steps to balance neurotransmitters if on antidepressants. You mentioned GPs in previous life. GP. Can you clarify what you mean by GPs in like general practitioner? But in order for balancing your neurotransmitters out in antidepressants, what you first got to look at is which receptor does the antidepressant work on. Alright, so how antidepressants are, the two most common ones are MAO inhibitors, so monoamine oxidase inhibitors, and select serotonin reuptake inhibitors. They're the two most common ones that you see prescribed all the time. And what these bad boys work on is serotonin, okay? So if you are taking these things, you should have a better level of serotonin. However, if your GP has made a bit of a mistake, which often happens, and you use the wrong one, and it's on the wrong one, it often won't help you, and you end up having both a deficiency of serotonin and GABA, in which case you need to balance out your GABA levels. And when you're on antidepressants, you should never ever take stuff like 5-HTP. Well, you should never take 5-HTP or St. John's wort, okay? They're the two biggies, which I recommend that you either skip out on, or you just consult your doctor about. I'm not like a huge advocate for these things based on what I've learned, so I don't know a whole heap about the actual antidepressants themselves. So if you need any hand with taking your antidepressants themselves as far as dosages and all that stuff goes, just go through with your GP, mate. But as far as supplementing around them, here are the steps to finding out what supplementation you can use to enhance the effect of the antidepressants. Is pretty much find out which antidepressant you're on. Make sure that you're not using your supplements which increase the neurotransmitter it works on, and then from there you want to supplement the other neurotransmitters, in particular GABA and dopamine. Petey, what's he asked? As soon as I take the Resurrect, my head hits the pillow and I'm out. Such a great feeling, waking up and ready to take on the day. That's exactly how you should be, guys. If you're taking something like Resurrect, you should wake up the next morning and you should feel absolutely fantastic. If you don't, then you're not going to have a fun time because you're going to be way overstressed. One test I do with a lot of guys is I make sure that if they wake up after taking rhodiola or Ronnie Coleman really drowsy the next day, I make them sleep a whole heap more, because it's a sign of being overtired. If you're not overtired, then you're going to feel a whole heap better after you're having taken them. Now, guys, I've got to go chuff off onto a podcast right now. I'm doing an interview with a few guys called The Unknown Strength with my bloke McGregor McNair. Really good guy, really cool guys from down in Melbourne. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post up the link to that after I've done the interview with them and it's gone live, and you guys will be able to listen to all about it. We're going to talk about performance, gut health, and might even touch on PEDs. Alright, so on that note, I'm going to leave you all to it, and I'll speak to you later.